You all have been asking some questions about our charger for people who park on the street and need to charge there. And in particular, the one question I've gotten is where are the electronics and are they in the post or have they moved out of the post, and what's the reason for either or? This is an interesting question because yes, originally all of our electronics were in the post. You saw this in my video for the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 and the Mark 3. The Mark 4 video is on the way. It'll be here soon. This is the Mark 4. So this guy, the top foot of the post has a box in it, something like this, that slips in from the top. All the electronics are inside. It makes it super easy for the electrician to install. It also makes the wiring really simple. You just have a single conduit coming out, running into this guy from the breaker. You wire it in, put the thing in the post, and you're good to go. I love that. That was the plan. I was sticking to that plan. I really wanted to do it that way for simplicity's sake. However, we had some conversations with some cities and they weren't a huge fan of the idea of having all the power electronics out here in the post in case it gets hit, because it will get hit someday, and then you have the potential for live wires being out there that somebody can interact with in a negative way. There's two options around this. One is to have some sort of quick disconnect where the post will disconnect and break apart safely. That's a really good option. The second option is you actually take the electronics out of the post and put them in the house. And we decided to go that way after a bit of deliberation, not only for that reason, also for connectivity. If we do it in the post, we pretty much have to use a cellular connection for the network. Whereas if we do it in the house and run a wire out to the post and just have a simple socket out here, you can run Wi-Fi really easily. You have good connectivity to that box in the house. The other thing is weather, and in particular heat. So this thing, especially in the black variation, gets baked like crazy, and we're trying to fit a really small form factor. So this does keep pretty cool where I live here in Pennsylvania, but Arizona, Southern California, really hot areas, you're gonna have more issues. There is ways around that. We have alternatives to that. That wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but that's obviously solved by moving the electronics inside. So what does our system look like now? You've probably seen this guy behind me in some videos, this little box here, this green box, and this socket here next to it. I know that this thing here is pretty funky with the translucence. That will not be that way. That's just for testing so we can see the light inside as we're working out how that housing will eventually be. Basically, all the electronics are in the green box here. This is the socket. This can go in the post. This doesn't have to go in the post. It could go on a wall like you see here. The green box is not the final prototype. We also have this guy here, which is a much more feature complete prototype. This is pretty close to what we will have in our final version.